Hi there, it's me, Jordan Van Haslo. Welcome to Jordan Van Haslo and Friends live on Hot 702.5 FM Las Vegas. Let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Showtime with Jordan Van Haslo and Friends right here on Hot 702.5 FM Las Vegas. I'm so excited for today's show because we have an old friend coming back to revisit us. He's a photographer, he's a director, and apparently he's a star of a new TV show that's coming out this summer. So I can't wait. We haven't had a chance to catch up in forever. So without further ado, my buddy Jasten King. Welcome, 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 Jasten.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, great to hear from you guys. Yeah, I think we've heard from. We did good. I think we chatted during the pandemic, and it was just so nice to talk to somebody. I think I went longer than the podcast, just rambling. I was like, someone to talk to.
No, totally. And did we do that before we did that fun Devin video? What to be young and on downers?
I think that was during the pandemic too. I think that's why we started chatting on this thing because we just finished that and that was really fun. That green screen, everybody pitched in. That was crazy. That was a editing beast, but it turned out really good, I think.
Yeah, well, I can imagine there were so many different people, and I guess everyone was kind of doing their own thing. And so it's
I know it's one of those things. Sometimes I get the idea for something that'd be really fun, and then I try to dumb it down for budget or for time, and then it's still it's oh my god, I'm my fault, I'm the one who pitched this. So
was that concept yours? Was that concept yours? That was your concept? So for everyone who hasn't seen it, if you haven't seen it, shame on you, but the whole concept was that everybody had to recreate a famous album cover, and everyone got so creative with it. It was so much fun. I recreated Madonna's "Like a Virgin." It was a blast, an absolute blast.
Yeah, it turned out cool. I was surprised by everybody really put in the effort to dress up and match the album covers, and it was actually really cool. It was really fun to see. I was excited every time I got a new clip. I was ooh, good choice.
Totally. Well, so what have you been up to? Because you just did something new with Devin, yeah?
I did a couple more
to see. I haven't spoken to him in forever. Now I know that they moved up north. I'm long overdue to catch up with them.
Yeah, when he was here, we did a couple of videos. He was doing more Devin Tait and the Traders or just Devin Tait solo stuff. And then, so that was kind of during the pandemic stuff. He was recording at home, and then, we couldn't really get together to make videos, but that's why we did a few green screen things. And then, then he moved up to Sacramento, and then in that time too, right before, he had the band Shitting Glitter, that had since broke up because Amy had passed away. But he had some demos left over, so he was like, "I'm just gonna finish these demos for one more release." And then he's like, because he won't be here and the band's not together, he just kind of let me run with a couple ideas. So I took a couple songs and made some short films, but more not really music videos, but more just kind of visualizers or something, to try to do something different. Like I said, when I do some of those other things and I have too much of a concept, then it becomes a total cluster when I'm trying to edit, trying to cram a too big of an idea into a 2-minute song. So these last ones, I was simple. We're going to go really simple with the ideas, and it's more about just almost photography that's moving, just really cool visuals. And so, because I always loved Kenneth Anger and some of these old 60s art films and stuff. So I was trying to do my version of that. So they turned out pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. So yeah. So those we just finished out just recently.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So what else have you been up to?
So I just finished, actually today, put out a preview. I guess it's going to air in a couple of months, but this will be out by the time this radio thing airs. But I did a thing for a drag performer named Aunduh. And she's a Latin, she's a big blonde, I love when I'm DJing, I see this giant wig come into the club and I'm like, who is that? I was find her and bring her to me. I want to do something with her. So I've worked with her a few times doing photography. She did a Christmas special called Under the Christmas Tree, which was really fun. And then and that was all green screen stuff in December. And so this new one we're doing I'm kind of incorporating some more like choreography, and I want to do more like dance videos. So we just finished this one that's more of a pop song, a Spanish pop song, and that'll be out by the time this is out. And then we're getting ready to do like a fetish one has some choreography. And then what I'm really excited about is the third one we're doing is like a Bob Fosse, it's kind of a sweet charity sort of theme with choreography. So that's going to be really fun. So those are the kind of ones I'm working on right now that should be out by the time I'm talking about this.
Yeah,
and then
that's really
I just
cool. Do you
finished
like you're just not to interrupt you, but like for this project, was this something that she came up with, or was this like how did the idea of these specific themes come about?
The Christmas stuff was more just on green screen, and she just kind of let me go with it, just kind of make it Christmassy and kind of funny. Because she also is in the ground links. She's really, really, really funny as like a host and stuff too. So yeah, some of them she just let me go for it. And these new ones, she has like the theme, I think. Like she has a theme through something fetish and a couple of camera angles she likes. And then she kind of leaves it up to me when it's editing to be like what to keep and what not to keep,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes we just overshoot everything because, it's all digital now. So it does, it doesn't matter. But the days of like film and stuff, you have to be picky about what you're going to actually put on film. Because
right.
it gets really expensive if you just kind of play around. So yeah, we try to do, she kind of throws like a theme or like a color or what outfit she's going to wear. And then I kind of look at the room and be like, all right, let's move this shit around and do something kind of. Sorry if I'm not cussing. Okay. But then I just finished these other ones for another Latin artist called Eduardo Togi. He's performing at WeHo Pride, and we just did like a full like live session. So it's about like 5 songs, I think. And then it should be out by the time this is out, but kind of, we've seen those like tiny desk concerts or something where it's just sort of not really a music video, but it's a performance, but it's in a studio without an audience. We just filmed that this week too. So yeah, that's really fun. I actually got to play guitar on a couple of the songs too. So that was kind of a little bonus for fun.
Well, that's cool. How is KillRadio still? Because I know you guys have been doing. I feel like the last time I saw you, didn't you guys do something? Didn't you guys do a show? I feel like the last time I saw you, you guys did. It was like at a performance.
Yeah, we kind of did like after like 10 years of being broken up, and then we just everybody's like sobered up now and like has kids. I mean, it's, we're all better than we were in our 20s and just being a nightmare.
You're a dad man now.
So it's like but we still really get along. So it's more just an excuse to like if we do a show or 2 a year, it's an excuse to hang out. So
yeah.
And then also too, like we I get to film stuff. I do edit all of our live videos. So for me as well, I get to make backgrounds, and I get to do stuff at my own kind of judgment as well because I'm in the band. So those are always fun projects. I did a couple music videos for us as well. And, but yeah, we're gonna do. Obviously during pandemic we couldn't do anything. We did like one music video, but it was just everybody was separate, and everybody was in a separate U-Haul. I mean, it's a crazy video. It's like trying to make a concept to film us, but we couldn't be in the same room. Was just just a real. I went through like 20 ideas, so we all agreed on something. But we recorded a couple of EPs. We're kind of recording a couple of things now. And then, yeah, we're finally going to do a show, our first one since pandemic, or since pre-pandemic. We have the Troubadour in September. So okay. After all the crazy summer stuff gets over, then I gotta start working on that.
Yay.
But that should be fun. I'm excited.
You're like busy.
I try to. Sometimes I feel like, what was that Joan Rivers documentary when she looks at the calendar, if there's 2 empty spaces, she puts on her sunglasses. Yeah. And it's like, hold on. That's definitely me. I totally fill it up and then I regret it later. But whatever, this is all fun stuff. So definitely summertime too gets to be, Pride season and DragCon. And I do a lot of stuff with World of Wonder. So when it hits summertime, I just know it's going to be busy. So I guess I'm already mentally prepared for it. But because I know after that, then wintertime, everything stops. So it's like I might as well just take it all and then relax later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's talk to me about what you have planned. First of all, I can't believe like summer is here. Like I feel like every day just speeds by. It's like I blink, it's like 9 a.m. I blink again, it's 3 p.m. I blink, it's 9 p.m. And then I wake up and it's the next day again. So you're doing some
Yeah.
stuff for Pride, right? And then
Yeah.
tell me about what you're up to for Pride.
So I agree with you. I mean, the WeHo Pride is like next week, the week after, next week. It's like it's insane. It's so soon. I was like, man, I can't believe it. That just popped up quick. So yeah, this year I mean, have some obviously DJ gigs and stuff pick up a bit, but trying to cut some of that out because there's also a lot of work for photo and video stuff. So I think last year I did like over a month in a row. I had like 1 week off, and then it was the rest of the month again. I was like, oh, I was like so exhausted. But I felt like Weekend at Bernie's. They just had to like hold me up and put a camera.
Like, just like roll you from venue to venue.
Totally, yeah. But this year I do a lot of the background. So like the WeHo stages and even some of the side stages that they do for Beaches and Revolver. I do for a lot of the drag acts that are out there. I do their background videos. So, just like backdrop visuals and almost like light machines, for these girls to kind of elevate their performances because instead of playing in clubs, a lot of them are on stages out on the street with screens and stuff. So it's like taking advantage of all we can. So I'm doing that. I'm photographing again for World of Wonder. So I'm doing their parade. Last year was the first time I ever got to walk in the parade. So while doing photos with the House of Love cocktails, which is like the pit crew from Drag Race and all that. So I'll be doing that again this year. And then also doing DragCon again. So that's always fun. And then, so yeah, World of Wonder has been keeping me busy for a lot of the photo work. But just the other day, we just did, they had a premiere for Drag Me to the Movies. It's like a new series that the guys who edit Trixie and Katya's show, they have a whole drag parody of like the random movies that they re-edit and kind of punch up into comedy. So yeah, we had a big premiere the other night. That was a blast. I mean, like everybody was there. I mean, it's like a crazy pink carpet thing that I got to photograph and had a blast.
Wait, so they edit the movies down to make them comedic, or is it kind of like a drag version of like Mystery Science Theater?
Oh, totally. It's like they do Scream, but it'll be Crystal Method with like Ginger Minge. Like they have them, they recreate and rewrite the whole thing. So it's like, it's a parody. Yeah. So that was really fun. Yeah. So summertime I'll be doing a lot of that. Pride is like, I'll be filming some of the live artists as well. And then, I'll be in the parade as well and DragCon, the pink carpet, runway, all that stuff.
Yeah, there. I'm like exhausted hearing you.
That's what I started with DJ gigs. I'm like, can we do the happy hours? Because I can't last till three in the morning. Like, yeah.
Do you prefer? I think I might have asked you this because you film. You're a filmmaker. You're a photographer. You're a musician. You're a DJ. Do you have a preference in terms of your creative outlet, or are you just like, I just need to create whatever it is? It doesn't matter.
I like it when it's kind of like in rotation, like, I mean, obviously with guitar stuff, I don't play as often as I used to. As a band, we don't play as often as usual, but I do like once or twice a year playing a show, or even like I said, with my friend I just filmed, I got to play guitar in his recording. That's kind of enough for me when it comes to playing music anymore. Cause it's just, I did that for so long when I was younger that it's just not, it's just such a hill, such a mountain to climb to have any sort of attention for that stuff that it's, it's kind of, it's a little disheartening or something sometimes. But I still like to do it if it's just every once in a while. Then it's just for my fun. It's not that time consuming. Then great, like just something else to do. I did theater before, and that was really fun because it was like incorporated everything. I mean, drag is like that too, where you get to sing, dance, host, comedy, video, photos, looks. That's what's kind of fun about working with a lot of drag artists. So, so I think that's what I like as far as like, photos and videos. Like right now, like I'm more in video mode. I don't know, like I said, I kind of go back and forth. I want to get sick of like filming and editing, go back to just doing photos and having that kind of be simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Have
kind of
you
more
ever
like these
thought,
days are that.
just said maybe, have you ever thought of creating a drag alter ego?
No, I always said I would do it if I was like in a play or something that like had a character, like doing Hedwig or something, or MC for cabaret would be really fun. But I don't know. I just never really had the interest in drag or for myself, like
Yeah.
I would feel I'd be that one like who can't walk in heels and like is the shortest one in the line. Like
You'd be like
I
Gene
can't
Hackman
compete.
at the end of Birds.
Totally. I would be the clunky dad like on the runway. Can't do it. Yeah. Yeah. So no, I never, yeah. I'm also too, I'm older, so we were talking with somebody the other day about when I was, 20s and stuff, when I first moved to LA and things, that drag was for like an older crowd. It was like older queens and stuff. Nowadays it's so different. There's so many
Yeah.
ages and so many styles of drag that, yeah, had I been 20 or something now and seeing all this, then it might be tempting to think of something to kind of incorporate or something to do. But I don't know. I don't want to go into drag at 150 right now. I'd rather just work with the other ones than have fun doing that. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then so the filmmaking, so you like the rotation and you're kind of rotating in. And so right now you're in like you've been in music video mode.
Yeah, because I know this summer is going to be photography, so I'm like, I just trying to also, studio music videos. I get to have more creation of, take two, take three, whatever. When you do events and things, it's really hard to. You just gotta keep clicking and hope you get it. So
Right.
so it's kind of fun to have time where I'm like, okay, I'm in control of the room and the lighting, and we have a couple hours, like we can get it right. So I like that's actually really nice, because what I put out there, that people can see, like, okay, cool, he could do stuff other than events. Sometimes I think people think
Yeah.
that's all I do.
Well, like as far as music videos, that's how I know you as far as like your filmmaking work. Have you ever done like a traditional narrative film, whether it's a short film or feature length, or is music videos kind of like your sweet spot when it comes to filmmaking?
I think I started with music videos because I was in a band, so we had cameras sitting around. Our manager owned a production company, so she'd be giving us cameras to take on tour all the time, and that's when I kind of started doing videos, like or as far as filming and editing music videos. I always made videos for like backgrounds for DJing or for just clubs to play, like Fubar and stuff, like here in LA, and now Revolver. I make like mixes and stuff, and I did that way back when. And then I started filming when I was in a band. That's where music videos started. It wasn't until I went to I went to college way later. I went to LACC, did their whole cinema program, and that was when I had to do like write like short films, and I did like a whole series of like poetry films that were kind of like a voiceover. I mean, well, when I look at them now, they're kind of like music videos because poetry is kind of like lyrics, and you're kind of just recreating what the words are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was kind of my
I'm
first kind of
picturing
going in
like as a
scripting.
student, I'm picturing this like very like the black and white French films, like just sad.
Yes, I
Sad.
love. I
I'm
mean,
so
my
sad.
huge
Like,
inspiration. My huge inspiration was like the early Tim Burton films. He has those ones of Frankenweenie, like the short film Frankenweenie, and he had Vincent, which is like his first short film. It's like a kid who wants to be Vincent Price. I love those films. So that's what I was trying to do with the poetry stuff. And they're all on YouTube. I mean, they're still there. You can still see them. And they're kind of like ghost stories and stuff like that. And then later did like I did a play for a while, and that was like a musical. So all that I had to write dialogue, do projections, and write songs for it. So that was a huge undertaking. And then after that, we've done some documentary work. So I guess I haven't really done a full-on narrative like movie, but even documentaries, you got to kind of like not script it, but like pre-plan.
you have to put together the story. I'm actually working on two documentaries
Oh,
right
nice.
now. One is about this organization in New Jersey that provides services to women who have been victims of domestic abuse. And then the other one I'm doing is really is not to say that the other isn't fascinating, but it's not as like heavy. It's about social media and the positive and negative effects it's had on our society. And so we've been interviewing all of these different subjects. Like I've interviewed someone from the drag queen world. I've interviewed influencer. We've interviewed a psychiatrist, to come at it from that aspect. But you're totally right in terms of, because now we're like getting all these things and we're like, okay, so now we really need to figure out like, okay, what's the through story and how are we gonna like turn this into 2 hours that like make sense, as opposed to just like a group of talking heads just saying what's in their mind.
That's always the big thing, is you don't want the talking head thing all the time, because it gets repetitive or something, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. I produced a documentary. I mean, this is a handful of years ago, called Finding Kim. It was a trans documentary. And it was one of those things, we had an intention of what it was going to be. We didn't know that he was going to transition during it. It was just kind of more about what it's like before you transition, or the process of it. And while we were filming it, kind of a secret donor donated the money for him to have his surgery. So then it kind of took a twist, because like, oh, now we can really show, like, we can actually film the surgery and film what it's like after, and then film the process afterwards as well, So then everything kind of changed, So it's like, oh, that wasn't the plan to begin with. So now you kind of have to like extend it, or decide what you're taking out from the beginning and everything. So it turned out to be something like
you better. Said, and it changes. It can change when you're doing like the documentary stuff. It can change based upon like what, like you said, like all of a sudden this happened. So now the whole narrative, like everything that you were planning on doing. How long were you guys in like filming for? Like,
that was probably about it was a couple of years, I think. It was up in Seattle. It was our friend Kim transitioned from male to female, and yeah, we were just kind of filming him at home and what it's like, and getting started on the hormones. And then they have a separate trans pride parade as well. So I got to walk into that and film that, which is really amazing. I mean, people just coming out of their stores and supporting and waving, and just really gave me an insight too of trans life that I wasn't even aware of, And then we had there's people you have to hire to film medical stuff separately. So we hired a person to film the surgery. We got to show pieces of that in the documentary, and then the whole recovery process, and how long it took him to grow facial hair and to feel comfortable and going out, and the kind of perspective you have, before and after. And we interviewed other people as well. We had like Dan Savage and Carmen Carrera and Calpurnia Adams, and it was really nice. It was like a really gentle documentary for, maybe showing stuff that's kind of not extreme, but, stuff that's maybe a little uncomfortable. So, and it did really well. Won a few awards and stuff. And I want to do more of that as well. I mean, documentary, I was trying to talk about the other day, like it's, when you do something narrative, you got to write a script, and then you break that down into a shot list and into locations and schedule. And so when you do a documentary, it's almost like you just keep gathering stuff until you have enough to be like, okay, now let's put together this puzzle. So right. it's like going backwards, like narrative, you kind of go this direction. Documentary, you do everything, all the same stuff, but the other way.
But in the opposite direction, totally.
Yeah. So you kind of have an outline, but then you got to still, narrow it down when it comes down to editing and stuff. So, and you could totally set the tone too of what you want it to be, and you could change it to be something else. I mean, yeah, it's a real it's also hard to know when to stop, because you're documenting something.
Well, that's the thing.
What's the stopping point?
Just go down like the rabbit hole and just keep on going. I know this woman who shall remain nameless, but this woman is independently wealthy and has been wanting to tell this particular story, and has been funding the production of her documentary literally for almost 30 years.
Wow. Whoa.
And she's like, still like, well, but there's more to the story. There's more to the story. And it's like, okay, so you've like totally fallen down the rabbit hole, but because you're rich, you can't hit rock bottom. So like, you're just
yeah, sometimes you just got to plan on a sequel. Be like, right? I'm going to stop here. We'll do the rest later.
Totally. Yeah. But I think that's also, I mean, that's documentary, but I think that's also with like most art, right? Like whether it's like a painting, whether it's a song, like it's easy to keep, or like even editing your music video, it's easy to sit there and like get lost in frame fucking and like
Oh, totally. Yeah.
trying to
Yeah, I get
figure out, okay, when do you take the easel away from the student?
well, 1,000%. Yeah. There's sometimes where I just get so nervous because I'm like beforehand because I want it to be good. So then I let it sit there because I'm too nervous to even start. And then I got the footage. I know it's good. I don't want to screw it up, so let me do this later, you know. And then yeah, it's like anybody. I think with drawing, with making music, with recording, it's just you're just never done, right? Like there was something I saw. Was it like a commentary on like Fight Club or something? And they're talking about how Fincher, I think it's David Fincher did it. He was like, sometimes you just need to make the movie, watch it, and then throw it away and start over because now you know what you want to do. It's like that's so true. It's like after it's out and you watch it 1,000 times, you're like, okay, now I know how to make it. Now can I do it again? So, because otherwise you're just going to sit there and play with it forever, but you have to kind of see it for a while. And that's what I do sometimes now. I'll make a draft of something and then I'll obsessively watch it for like a week, and then I'll know like, okay, I like these parts. I don't like these parts. Let me swap things out. And that kind of helps, and so it's not a big hurry to put it out. Then I have a little time
but sometimes
nerd out.
You need to, but also sometimes I think you need to, as opposed to just watching, like literally step away from it for like a week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then come back and then you're like, oh, this is awesome. Or like, oh my God, what mushroom was I on when I was
totally. Oh yeah, some of those early like editing phases of things, I'm like, woo, like how long was that happy hour last night when I was editing this? I'm like, at least it got me to a point, but still, I'm like, I might need to back up here a bit because I don't trust what I did. Yeah.
I give you props as an editor though, because so like I grew up in like live entertainment, like theater and nightclubs, but I've really been getting into filming, particularly producing, and over the last couple of years. And like, I don't know how you do it as an editor. Like, I have no patience. The idea of sitting there and just staring at each frame and like, no, we need to cut a second and a half here to make the timing. But like, I don't know how you do that. And like, it's like I'm such an impatient person. Like, it's like just have like wave my magic wand and have it done.
Oh God, sometimes I'm like, can I just pass it on to somebody else and then get me to a point and then let me do the last comb through or whatever. But oh, for sure. I mean, it's like it's the worst when you're not the one who filmed it as well, because then you have to sit down and watch all of the footage and kind of pick out things. And that's why I like to edit stuff that I filmed first, because I'm mentally already kind of thinking like, okay, not that take and not that take. I'm already kind of chunking it out as I'm filming, and then I just call that chunking it as well, when I just kind of go through it and then I just lay it all out and then kind of go through and be like, okay, I like this part, I like this part, I like this part, and then that way it kind of starts, and then go through it again and do that again and do it again until you start to get to the ballpark of the length that you need, and then it starts being like moving it around. But it's really just kind of watching over and over again to see, okay, that 5 minutes I filmed, I just need 10 seconds. So what 10 seconds, It is very tedious. And also too, just technology, like that's the time I tell people when I'm editing something, it's going to take a while because it's not just me being slow or something. It's like, you got to upload everything. You got to render everything. You got to save it. You got to upload it again for them to look at it. And then it's a lot of, and there's too much on. If your computer is doing too much at once, it will shut down and you have to restart everything. So it's like, you just have to commit to being like, all right, I'm going to be here for a few hours. So let's go.
Yeah. Are you that person when you get to the point where you say like, okay, I'm done. It's done. It's rendered. And this is it's ready. It's done. Are you that person who's then like very nervous to show your work to people, or are you like really eager and excited to like get people's, and get it in front of people's eyes?
It's nervous when you have to show, like I made a music video for an artist. Then it's like, when I get it to like a draft where I'm like, okay, I think this is pretty good. It's not a final, but at least it's something for them to look at and tell me any notes that they have. And then that's always nerve wracking when I email it off or text it and I can see that they've read it and there's no response yet. I'm like,
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 oh.
like, oh no, they hate it. They hate it. Oh no, let's start over. Yeah. And then like they'll write back and like it. So I'm like, oh, you got to tell me that sooner. But yeah, at that time I'm always like nervous. And then once we get to an agreement of a final, then yeah, then I'm excited. I'm like, I want to share it right away. So that's when I start sending to friends and stuff because I want to get their opinions. And yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely would I get to a point. Sometimes I get to a point where I really like it, but then the notes start coming in and it's taking out stuff that I thought was cooler, you know. So I just have to sometimes be like, well, at least I know I have a version that I really liked, you know, that maybe I could clip out and show later. But I just always want to make the person happy as well. I mean, they're the ones in it. You know how it is being on camera as well. There's probably things that they're self-conscious about, not necessarly that it's a bad shot, but they just don't like how they look
oh my
or
God,
something.
look at how my chin looks when I turn my head this
Oh,
way.
1,000%, 1,000. Again, every time. Yeah. So
Is
sometimes
that-
it's got to be like, all right, I see what you mean, but just the shot was cool, you know.
is it difficult? Because I mean, talent can be very difficult in and of themselves with insecurity and all of that jazz. And then partially because
Yeah.
when you're talent, you are putting yourself out there, and usually in a kind of a really big way. Is it? Have you ever had an experience where like someone was really difficult to work with in the terms of like they don't necessarily know anything about filmmaking, but they're like they give you just such copious notes where you're just like, dude, will you just fucking relax? Or like,
Yeah.
like you know,
Yeah.
like have you had that experience where you really had to like handhold and like really manage someone's expectations and really manage their, you know, their personality and insecurities?
Sometimes it's a lot of notes, and I'm like, oh, geez, like it's like so specific. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Now I'm remembering specific. There's sometimes where if it's like a corporate thing or something, yeah, like, yeah, corporate or advertising things. I've done a couple of those, and I don't ever want to do again. It was very much like, I mean, we must have went through like 20 edits, and it was literally like move that like a half second, move that like a little bit up. It was literally it's like this 1 minute like product video, and I was like, well, this will be easy. It's like a minute long, and some people I knew from another shoot I did. I'm like, oh, that's fine. And then doing it was like, oh my God, that was like so specific, and then you literally can't tell edit 20 from edit 11. I mean, they look the same. It's just these little bits that are so specific. But then sometimes I like that. Like some artists or something will give me notes, and it's really easier for me because then I don't have to think anymore. Because I just did a bunch of editing. That's where I have to choose what to cut out, everything. So when I get the notes and it's like specific, like, you know, move, you know, the 10-minute mark over to the 20-minute mark or something. Perfect. I mean, I love that. I just go down the list and do, and then it's done. So, and that's not, and I get it. They're not necessarily being like, they don't like it or they're not being mean. They're just, you know, they have an opinion too. And then that actually helps me because then sometimes I'm just I'm floating out here being like, I don't know which take A or take one or take two. I don't know which is better.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, I'll show you, tell me which one you prefer, you look in. So, yeah, sometimes sometimes it's just really helpful. I mean, a lot of these drag girls and stuff too, I mean, they know what lighting, what angle, what they look best in. So sometimes it's actually not really, some people might take it as picky, but I'm like, I love it because then setting up is like simple. They know exactly where they want everything. So sometimes that's actually like, things move quicker. I don't have to like, you know, run around and try to figure out how to make them happy.
Totally. How did you get into the into working really heavily with World of Wonder and the drag world?
Oh, nice.
Like how does one go from being a touring rock and roller to
I mean, it's always kind of been like, I always think it kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, like kind of the punk scene and everything is very much like the drag scene. You know, it's very, you know, you don't, like, I don't fit in as much with the drag scene as much, or gay scene, and I don't necessarily fully fit in with the rock scene either. You know, so I'm kind of a floater with both. You know, I kind of live in both worlds. And then, so that kind of came from, World of Wonder came about because I was doing photography at a lot of clubs that I was DJing at. So I would, if there's drag shows or something, I'd bring a camera as well, or take pictures of go-go boys, and just, I mean, it was kind of early on in my photo stuff, just to get just samples and practice, and then they had me, what was I doing? I was photographing at Foo Bar, and the DJ there was DJing World of Wonder. So he asked if I could photograph for something there. So I was doing some of their like red carpet stuff for a while. And then, what's that? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, keep going.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was like, wait, I thought it went out for a second. But yeah, so I started doing some of their just events, but just the red carpet stuff. And it was, kind of few and far between. And then when I started doing DragCon, I was working for Hornet with like Meatball and stuff. And then they saw me do that. And then since then, the last like three of them, I think I've done just the World of Wonder stuff, which has been photographing or do like a photo booth with the pit crew and stuff, and kind of doing more of their events. And then, yeah. And then since then, they put out like the House of Love cocktails. So I did all their product stuff. I did all their merch. We're going to do a merch shoot soon on the Drag Race stage, which is going to be really fun. And then, yeah, so they just kind of keep using me for everything. but it's been great. I mean, they're so fun to work with, and they have a lot of events at the office and the gallery, or they have events now in their theater. So I get to do a lot of those, which is pretty fun. So in DragCon, and then they just put me on the news show as well. So it just kind of keeps getting bigger. Everything I do with them, they keep using me for more.
Yeah, that's cool. And I imagine it's really cool too, because as an organization, they seem to be like a pretty well-oiled machine in the sense that like they know what they're about, they know what their aesthetic is, they know what they're like. So I would imagine, I mean, granted, like I've worked at every major studio except for Paramount, and I found all except for one of them was like usually kind of a shit show.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
Oh, yeah.
But World of Wonder seems like they kind of like, they know who they are, and they do what they do very well, and it's like almost like not a routine, but it's like, this is what we do, come in and we're in it, and this is how we do it.
It's really cool too, is like for as big as they're been or they're getting, it's so international and stuff now. I mean, there's DragCon UK, there's Drag Race Philippines, there's like, it's just crazy how like much it's grown. That it's still kind of funny when you go to the main office, it's like 20 people or less who work there. So it's like, it's so funny, like every time you do the events and everything, everybody's there. So it's not like everybody really does work together, and everybody's nice, and it's like
Are they still on Hollywood Boulevard? Is that still building on Hollywood Boulevard? With like I'm sorry, go for it.
Oh, I said, yeah, it's right there in that corner, and the gallery now is being turned into where they used to have most of the events, is now turning into a merch shop. And then they bought out or cleaned out the theater that used to be the Pussycat Theater, that back in the day that was like a big porno theater. Mm-hmm. That they cleaned all that out, remodeled it, and now they're doing like their events, and then they're also filming some of the like the web shows in there. Like, so yeah, they're still on that little corner there.
Oh, that's cool. Yay. Yeah. Well, so speaking of that, you mentioned, so you're going to be not just behind the camera for World of Wonder, you're going to be on camera talent for World of Wonder.
Yes.
Yeah? So tell me all about, can you tell me all about that? Can you talk about it yet? Or is it still like?
Yeah, I think so. There hasn't been any footage out yet, but maybe by the time this comes out, there'll be some clips. But they have announced it. So
okay, so we can talk about it. Yeah. So tell me all about it.
So yeah, it was real exciting. They had me do the new show called Painting with Raven. For anybody who follows World of Wonder or RuPaul, like Raven was a contestant a couple times on the series, but then has later gone on to be RuPaul's makeup artist. She does the only person that does RuPaul's makeup. So then they had a series during pandemic called Painted with Raven, where it was like a makeup competition show. So it's kind of all on Zoom, and it was just something like fun for their Wow Presents app. But now that pandemic's over, there's some in-between series of filming. They did a special series of Painted with Raven called Painting with Raven, and they have it was like 8 girls, I think, that from RuPaul's Drag Race that came in and did their makeup in front of Raven, and then she just kind of interviewed them about everything. I mean, their life, but their makeup style, where they get their looks from, and all that. So we filmed that for a couple weeks, and it comes out the end of summer. And I'm on the show as the photographer. So at the end of every episode, they do a photo shoot. So I run the photo shoot at the end, and then they use the photos I take for the final looks. And yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, it was really long days in a really cold studio, but it was I was like, drag queens are all padded and makeup until they don't sweat. It's like, ooh, it's an ice box in there.
How long was production? How long how many weeks did you film?
I think we did like 2 weeks. We had a day off in the middle of each. Yeah. So it was nice. I mean, yeah, it was like 14-hour days, but it was a blast. And, I just got to sit with Raven all day, so that was a hoot as well.
Yeah. Well, I imagine like with that kind of compressed schedule, you kind of like are just living, eating, and breathing it. And so I imagine it's almost the same as like doing like a touring show where all of a sudden you're in a bubble and you feel like there's no other world but the world you're in and the people that you're surrounded by.
Yeah, there is like no time for anything else. Yeah, it is like being like on tour or something. Like you're either in the car or you're sitting at sound check or you're sitting waiting to play or you're sitting waiting to go home. It's like, yeah, it's very much the same.
Well, do you like doing TV? Do you want to do more of it?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. I mean, that was really fun. So yeah, anything like that would be fun. I mean, I had fun being behind the camera too. Like when I did Meatball's show and any of those drag con videos and stuff, those were all really fun. But yeah, I wouldn't mind being back in front of it. I mean, at first I thought I was gonna be really nervous because filming that Raven show, I mean, I had to stand on this giant white photo set, and then I have like, 3 drag queens staring at me. I have 6 cameras pointed at me. I have a table of producers right beside me. And they're like, yeah, you can go ahead and tell us what you want us to do. I was like, okay.
Just don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I was like, don't sound nervous. Yeah. But I was ready to start chugging House Love cocktails in the corner and be like, get my nerves to go down. But once we got started, it was very much like that, like in the bubble that we all knew each after day one. I was comfortable with everybody. Everybody was so nice that it was just really fun to do. So yeah, I would love to do more of that, or yeah, any more live shows or anything too. I mean, I always loved like theater and stuff as well. It was really fun. I'd love to do more of that. But yeah, if it ever comes up, I go for it.
You literally have done kind of a little of everything at one point in time or another. You've done most everything. Is there anything artistically that's on your bucket list that you haven't had the opportunity to explore or try or execute that you is in the back of your mind is like, I really want to do this. I really want to do this.
I was going to joke that I do a little bit of everything. Sounds like my Grindr profile.
Right.
But no, I really loved when I did theater
it's funny
stuff.
It's true.
I love doing theater. That was really fun. Like after my KillRadio broke up, I did like another side band. We turned all that music into a play, and like I said, that was really fun because it's kind of throwing all their eggs in one basket or whatever, because it was like music and it was video.
Cliche.
And
isn't that what happens once pop singers like once their recording career ends, they go to Broadway and like
I know. I felt like I was like the shit. I was like, oh yeah, I just got off from the tour with this band. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna go do theater. But my theater was like Casino del Campo, that was like in the basement of a Mexican restaurant. I mean, it wasn't Broadway. But I love that though, because it was like incorporating everything. So if I could do something bigger like that, or I don't know, I love like putting it together. I would love to do more of that stuff. Like because I kind of know a little bit of everything, I do like to maybe step away from the camera or step away from being in front of the camera to be like, oh yeah, this would be great if we had this person do that, and you just kind of put it together for other people. Like even with Pride coming up with WeHo, it's really nice to like have control over what's going to go on the screens and kind of, that's almost kind of like putting together a show with them. I mean, the artist is concentrating on what their set list and how they're singing and their outfits. And so it's kind of fun for me to like work with that as well to create like a full visual,
Yeah, totally.
So I love that. I mean, that's theater. I mean, I always say that's theater as well. I mean, everything from Kiss to a drag show with videos and production and pyro and lighting and outfits, they're all very much the same. It's, Kiss is the biggest drag show on earth. So there's nothing that different,
Yeah.
So putting together a big show like that, I would love to be, just step back and be the producer of that kind of thing. So yeah, so that goes hand in hand with bands and, you know, drag stuff or just theater production as well. So that's
Would
kind
you
of the
ever
last thing.
would you ever do a revival of the show that you wrote?
I want to. I was thinking like again, it's another thing that's like such a like a mountain to put together and to put on, you know. I would have loved that to just do that. I mean, people who do theater who get to do, you know, 8 shows a week, they think that's grueling. I would love that. I would think that's perfect because the show's already done. You have everything in order. And you just get to do it over and over and over again.
Show up,
I'm
do
like,
your thing, and go home.
yeah, I love it. I was like, that's fine because you know, like in a band, you have to, you know, drive to the next city and have to reset everything up again and change your set list and write new songs. So with a play, I'm like, oh, that's fun to like just really put together the best thing possible and then just do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to. I was kind of thinking, you know, if I can get some attention from, you know, these next documentaries or next shows and stuff I'm doing, to maybe put together some sort of pitch or something for either the live show or just making a, you know, a little movie of it or something too. Like it doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar production. We can do the Hairspray thing and make the John Waters version, and then later on, someone can make the bigger version.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely on my list. You know, it's just it's hard with LA. You would think a city of actors and everything that there would be more theater here, but it really is. It's kind of non-existent. So
LA is weird when it comes to that. Like I remember just when I lived in LA full time, just I would get tickets, you know, to things, and just even just getting somebody to go with me to the theater for free. Like it's like, but these are comps, guys. You want like LA is really strange when it comes to theater. And I don't know. What do you think that that's about?
well, I think so somebody said that was like I think everybody like in New York or London or they want to be actors and the serious actors do theater. In LA, it's like people here I think want to the goal is to be more about being famous than it is about polishing your acting skills. So people,
Right.
I think they want to just skip to being on TV or skip to being an influencer.
Got it. You know? As opposed to like I'm a thespian like this.
Yeah, they're not. It's not like a strong acting. I mean, even when the touring shows come in, we just went and saw Chicago was at the Pantages. You know, those touring ones usually have somebody that's like a guest star or something from TV or something. And then even in LA is the only one they never have that, which I think is so weird. Like, what do you? This is the biggest resource of actors, and there's never anybody in it. I don't get it. Yeah, but I don't. They'll go to Orange County and then they'll add somebody. Like,
right?
That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I don't know. I love like and when I go to London, I like marathon theater. Every day I go to a show or two, and it's just I just love the variety of stuff. And so if I ever did it again, I would think I would probably work to do it out there first. You know, at least to get more attention, and then maybe come back and do a little bit here. But
no, totally. No, totally. Or even like in Chicago. Chicago's a very big theater. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Even, I mean, New York obviously is great, but there's also, you know, the biggest competition possible
right
there. So, but yeah, I would love to do it again. But yeah, it was fun when we did it the first couple of times. Right? I did it at Casita, which is a great theater. I mean, it's like a basement theater, but it's like, you know, Jackie Beat and they do Golden Girls there. They have, you know, Liza Minnelli's been there. I mean, it's kind of a crazy, like, secret spot in LA. But then, yeah, we later did the Fringe Festival. We won Best Musical and stuff, and that was really fun. So I know there's potential there, and it's kind of like my baby because I have so many things involved in it that I would love to do it again. But I just think I gotta think it out first because it is a struggle to get people to go out. I mean, especially post-pandemic, it's hard to get people to go out to anything. I mean, it's really nobody wants to like go anywhere. They just stay home. But yeah, I think I want.
But in LA, I think LA is like that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was just I think that LA is very much like that in general. Just getting people to like, well, getting people to do anything, right? You know, usually plan it. I don't know. I was telling this story when I had a colleague of mine who used to work with at Sony, and this is after I left Sony. But I was at LA Pride, and we ran into each other, and. You know, my charity EAA was like having an event the following weekend or something. And I was like, oh, you should come. her reply was the most LA reply in the world. And it was amazing. Like it took everything not to laugh at her because she was totally dead serious. And I'm like, yeah, you should come. Here's the info. She goes, oh, I'll definitely probably try to make it.
Oh God. You know, if they ever say try, they're not going to show it. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, well.
I think it's at least it's like, I mean, it's probably just, there's too many options, right? I mean, I guess that's kind of the excuse. One thing, you know, there is the traffic issue and, you know, everybody has a random work schedule here. It's up to, so benefit as a doubt. Sometimes people just can't.
Yeah, and when you say the traffic, everyone's, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna, depending on where you're located, it's like, well, I'm all the way out in like Eagle Rock, or I'm all the way in Santa Monica. Oh, do I really want to drive an hour and a half to go see an hour and a half show in a theater? You know, I think, but there's also, because I remember talking to someone about, I don't know if you remember when they the theater in the basement of the Roosevelt, they tried to turn that into a cabaret room at some point. Do you remember?
Oh wow!
I remember
there was a cabaret room in the middle of it too. That was like a little small piano bar or something that they had in there, which I always thought was really cool.
Right. Well, this was like they tried to do like kind of like a New York style cabaret room where like they'd bring in like name, you know, nightclub performers, and they'd have them like go, you know, like 2-week runs, sort of like they do like at the Cafe Carlisle, or and it wasn't successful. And I was having a conversation with someone, and he was saying that problem is that people don't go out in Los Angeles the way that they do in like a New York or LA. So like in New York or London. And so in LA, it always is about new, next. So they were like, it was really difficult. And hence, I think with theaters, the same way, it was hence difficult to get people to come back and to sustain something for a long period of time, because everyone in LA is always just looking for the next new thing. So
yeah. I think even too, it's like maybe it's something to do with like the street traffic and stuff. Like in New York, you can walk out your door, hop on the train, or just walk down the street, go to something, go to a dinner, go to a club. It's all right there, right? So LA, you're kind of like, oh God, I got to drive. I got to get on the couple freeways, get there. I got to pay for parking, and then I'm gonna want to go out and eat after. We're gonna have to drive again, way down the street, park over there. So it is a little more like of a hurdle, you know. It's not really like we're already out for the night.
Yeah, it becomes like a thing. No, totally. You're absolutely right.
Because I was just in New York in December, and yeah, it was so much easier to just be like, I'm already out, and everything is like walking distance. So let's just go to something else. You know, like it's easy to kind of bounce around. But yeah, I can see like the difference might be that. But yeah.
I wish I had known you were in New York. Next time you're in town, give me a buzz and we'll grab drinks.
Hey, okay. Yeah. I want to go back again. I went just for, you said the magic word, drinks. But yeah, I was just there, and I just went for a couple of the final Kiss shows were there, and that was a blast. But I mean, I didn't really get to see anybody because I was just, I was either outside crying my eyes out or sitting at the show screaming my head off. So I was like, I need to go again and like have another New York experience.
Well, listen, we are basically we have to wrap up, but it's been really cool catching up with you, and I'm so happy for all of the successes you have and all the cool stuff that's coming up, both in Pride and
thank you
with your new TV show this summer.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So just to remind our audience, where can our audience find you on the interwebs?
Mainly Instagram. I pretty much use that as my main webpage. So it's at Jasten King on Instagram. And then I have a link tree there too. So any kind of the current videos and stuff, I try to make a direct link as well. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, it was really cool catching up. And when you're
in
New York, I'm next in Los Angeles. If we're both next in Las Vegas, we're definitely doing drinks.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. I wrote you a while ago and I was like, oh man, I want to do that again. So thank you so much for having me. I mean, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're always welcome.
Yay.
And then thank you all out there in Radio Land for joining us, because I definitely couldn't do it without you. And we'll see you next week on another episode of Showtime with Jordan Van Haslen and Friends, right here on Hot 702.5 FM Las Vegas.